What's up, YouTube? It's Brian with Team Board Wipe. We had a few case tourneys this weekend in the Twin Cities. 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. I could not go to the one on Sunday. I was playing Tengu instead. Oops. But I played the best deck at both of the case tournaments Saturday. I got top 4 at the first, top 8 at the second. I mean, we split top 8 in both of them. But after Swiss, in the first one I was top 4. So top 4. With the best deck. And so going into a new format with a new set released, I figured I'd kind of talk about what cards I'm playing in the best deck and things I'd potentially think about and change for the future, and whether or not I actually think the deck is good or if I just got lucky. Starting out with 3-Ray, the best deck. 1 Rose. You don't need 2 Rose anymore because now you have linkage, even though linkage is horrible. 1 Rhoda and 3 Engage. Ultra engages because I don't have secrets, so if anybody wants to give me for free 2 Dark Savior secret engages because I only have 1, I'd take them, but otherwise we're playing the Ultras. 2 linkage, not 3 because it takes a card to get to the starter, so just like, you don't want to have to waste a card just to get into your engine. It's best used to like dodge failures, imperms, or to OTK, like Ray linkage OTK. So, yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but you know, 2's better than 1. I think. 1 drones, better starter than linkage, but it's at 1. And then that's all the starters. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're up to 10 starters now with the 3rd engage. Woo. 3 Widow, 2 Shark. Shark could maybe be a 3 of in the format right now, but there's still just so much variety that I'm not sure. I liked 2. I think 2 is good. I finally added an Eagle Booster. I've been playing without this card for months, and I added it back in this weekend. It's nice. It's an extra quick play to search off Shizuku if you need to reset one of your quick plays that are engraved and you can't search, which is good, and it also protects from all the hand traps on your quick army. 1 burners, 1 roll. I was at 2 for a while because if the roll gets cleared, it's really hard to win. Because you need a lot of recursion in any type of grind game at all, but I ended up taking it out. I didn't super miss it. Still have to consider, too, if people are starting to get on more and more removal, and if there are more mirror matches. Rolling the mirror match is nuts. I actually played a Striker mirror match for the first time in I don't even know how long at the case tournament, and it was a lot of fun. I won it. Those are my Striker cards. I like the lineup. I like the ratio. I don't think I'd change anything right now. Just kind of keep in mind a 3rd Shark Cannon there, or a 2nd multi-roll. Hand traps, 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, 3 Veiler. I did not main Nibiru this weekend. It was in my side deck. I don't know. It might be a card that you just shouldn't be playing without, but specifically for what I was thinking I was going to play against, I just didn't want Nibiru in my main deck because it doesn't help in your worst matchups, I guess. Like specifically like the branded deck. That deck is so hard. Or the Senpai matchup, because the Senpai matchup makes you go first and then they kill you through a lot. So Nibiru is bad against both of those, so I put it to my side deck. Because I liked the rest of my non-engine into the fire matchup as long as they weren't playing Fire Kings. My only loss the whole weekend. So the first one I went 3-0-1, and I tied with Joey, who was playing the Fire King fire deck, and I went 3-1-1 at the second one. I tied with a branded deck that I maybe should have lost to, but then I lost to Joey, the Fire King deck. The Fire King deck is so hard. So that's something we have to kind of figure out how to build against. But I beat every other fire deck. The first case tournament, I played 4 fire decks and I beat the first 3. 1 was Cash, 1 was pure Snake Eyes, and then 1 was a Makanko Snake Eyes. I almost got FTK'd by that one. That was crazy. But like, I like my non-engine enough where I didn't feel like I needed Nibiru. Call by 2 Droplet are the rest of the non-engine that aren't thrust targets. I cut Offerings to the Doomed for the first time in forever. It just felt like it was a card where if you didn't draw into your engine, drawing that card lost you the game because you couldn't draw into your engine next turn. And it's a really good card when you're like going with things, but I decided to cut it. Third droplet is potentially in the mix. This card's really important. And then thrust targets. Everybody's on 2 thrusts. I feel like every Sky Striker list I see has 2 thrusts in it, but 6 engages is better than 5. Tactics, Raigeki, and Dark Hole. Harpies. Herald. This card goes in and out of my main deck. I know there are people that play Pearly at my locals, so it's just tough. A main deck out to Noir is important, and this is better than Hamp because just having to have a Sky Striker monster on the field to out Noir is sometimes frustrating. And 40th card is Change of Heart. I think the cards, the last cards in, right? So the cards that I would take out first are one of these. I think maybe Dark Hole over Raigeki, Herald, Change of Heart. If I was adding like a third droplet or a third Shark Cannon or a second multi-roll, or even a second Afterburners, I guess is a possibility. But like outside of that, I don't know. The list worked really well for me this weekend. I liked every card in it. There was only one game that I didn't draw any engine, and I won that game by normal summoning a Veiler and making a Typhon, and it was cool. Extra deck, 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku, and 3 Hayate. I know a lot of people play 2 Hayate. If I cut one of these, it's usually a Shizuku, and I don't know. For a while, like, I always hear that that's really stupid and I should play 2 Hayate and 3 Shizuku, but like the 3rd Shizuku is really only important in like super grindy games or the mirror match. And I guess if more people are playing Striker because there's 3 engages, 3 Shizuku is possibly better. But I actually meant to take out the Shizuku for something else before the tournament started, but I forgot. So 3-3-3, 1-1-1. And that's the hardest part about Sky Striker. You have like 12 Sky Striker cards. This is potentially not needed, but it's just like a way to get into Engine if you play this card. And this is actually another card I thought about cutting, just because there's a lot less dark monsters floating around. There's still like Witch and stuff in the fire decks, but I feel like I summon this less and less and less as this fire format goes on. And the reason this is started, right, is if you can like take one of their monsters off a Tactics or a Change of Hearts or a Widow, you could Shark Cannon another one of their monsters or something. If you can take 2 of their monsters and one of them's dark, you make a dark, you summon that monster back, and then you can summon Azalea, and that's how you get to your Striker engine. But I don't know, this is just becoming less and less common, so I think the extra deck is probably where I'm going to make the most changes going forward and just trying it out. Taking out Dark, and either adding like a way to climb into access code, like Selene access code, or a second SP or something. And if we take out Dark, maybe we can afford to take out Azalea, or maybe a second Zeke. I don't know, there are a lot of options. I think trying to solve the problem of killing people faster is the most important one. So maybe it's possible we maybe even take out Typhon, but I don't know. I hesitate to do that. So like maybe we take out Dark, maybe we take out a Shizuku, and we add like Selene access code. I don't know what an easy way to get Selene to resolve without hard drawing Effect Veiler. But you know, maybe there's a different option. Maybe it's Unicorn access code, and we just rely on having the bodies to do it. But yeah, shout out Sky Striker token, shout out the homies. Yeah, that's the extra deck. So we got some work to do on the extra deck, kind of figuring out and solving it for the format, but that's where we're at so far. Side deck is just 5 cards, 3 Nibiru, 3 Bell, 3 Bestials. I don't own a 3rd Druis Worms. 3 Cosmic, 3 D-Barrier. This is really good for the hard matchups, especially when you know the Senpai is going to make you go first. And then Branded, you just have to read the player. Sometimes I even side this card in going second, because if you can pick apart their board even a little bit, if you don't get puppeted, and then set this card, they have to have like a heavy like Lubellion Bestial engine to even get close to killing you. So I like this card as my flood quite a bit. Cosmic is just kind of good in quite a few different matchups, especially now that Kashtira cards are more and more popular, especially in like the Snake Eye builds or even pure. Outing the birth is important, because if their birth resolves, it's really hard to win. Bestials, in the mirror match, I drew both of these, game 2 in my opening hand, and that got me there. It was just so hard for him to keep up the resources with me constantly banishing his rays and having big bodies to deal with. Bell's a hand trap, Nibir's a hand trap. That was it. So, I don't know that I'd really change much about the side deck. I guess depending on what kind of decks you know are going to be in your area in your tournament, if you think your bad matchups aren't going to be there, like not heavy branded, not heavy Senpai or something, maybe you can main Nibiru just to like get ahead of the fire decks game 1. But other than that, I really like this a lot. I still like the idea of going second with Striker. I never chose first, not a single time. And I know a lot of people like, oh, Floodgates are Striker's best friends, and like they have a point, but like turning Striker into a draw Floodgate or you lose deck just isn't what I want to do. So there we're at. Shout out Metamats, shout out Tabletop for the first case tournament, shout out VCG. They're not on here anymore. R.I.P. Shout out VCG for the second case tournament. We're still good pals with them. And they host our Time Wizard tournaments every other Thursday. So, shout out The Simpsons. Shout out A Good Snack. I don't know where the cats are, but shout out them. Shout out Montana for filming my deck profile, and shout out the squirrel.